What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I'm just out here making some runs. Early Saturday morning. It's beautiful here in Michigan, and everything is going awesome. So while I stop at the gas station, I figured I might as well give you an update of what it is that I'm seeing, what it is that I'm hearing, and what my thoughts are, because I was really perplexed last night, and I was bothered. I was super bothered last night, and the reason why I was super bothered was because I jumped on a panel after observing a conversation in the car, and I was on YouTube, right? And so I seen a group of guys, and we were talking about the Ohio State not guilty thing. And make sure that y'all tap into the Anton Daniels show tonight, because I got a panel. It was awesome. Had Crimson Cure, and we have some really great discussions. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So I was listening, and the guy started telling a story about how his homeboy or his family member, I don't remember which one, but his homeboy was a grown man, like above the age of 21 or 21 or something like that. And he was dating, keyword dating, a 17-year-old. And so, you know, my mental math isn't all of that great, but let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 years apart, right? Who knows if she was truly 17, because in my opinion, people like to fabricate numbers a little bit just to make sure that their story is a little bit better, so that they don't fall into that gray area, that really gray area, right? But it was already a negative area. But he was talking about, what's going on, fam? He was talking about specifically how the girl finessed the guy because she got mad after they had been dating, and then the guy wind up not marrying her after promising to marry her and stuff like that. But my spidey senses is tingling, and I'm like, well, what is a 21-year-old doing dating a high school girl? I mean, a girl with possibly a clear backpack, a door to explore, all of that, right? Like, I'm weirded out. And so, you know, he tried to justify it, and a bunch of other guys tried to justify it, and then they started talking about the different laws and the different states of, you know, where the age of consent can be or whatever like that. Let me just make this very clear. And I hate having this conversation every single year, because it's always some weirdo that gets on a panel, and then it brings out all of the true weird people that like young girls, right? I don't care what the law is and what specific state. You wild, bro. You weird. You straight up weird if you think it's cool for a grown man that can go out and purchase liquor to be pulling back up at a high school to talk to young girls. You wild. You wilder than anything that listen, even prisoners, people that have killed people, murderers, drug dealers, poisoners of the community, stealing money, everything that you can possibly think of that is locked up, even they have a code of conduct in which they don't believe, or they believe that the lowest form of a human being in the scum of the earth are the people that take advantage of our children. And if you're so obsessed with box that you gotta go and get it from a little girl, and I hated it. I mean, even as a kid, when I would see dudes pull up to the high school after they graduated high school to come and talk to the young girls, even when I was in high school, I thought that was wild. I'm like, what is wrong with these dudes? This is weird. And now, as a 40-year-old man with a daughter in high school, it hit even more, because I'm like, yo, this is where we got to protect our babies. This is why we got to look out for them. And then they was on the panel trying to justify it and saying, well, they know what they doing. Listen, man, I don't care how focused, how understanding, how much they truly know what they doing. Yeah, that means that they need a good belt. They need a good belt on their backside, and we need to get some control, and we need to make sure that whatever professional help or whatever community intervention that we need to do, we need to make sure that we go ahead and participate in that. But I don't care what a child, because it's a child to me, with an undeveloped brain. I don't care what a child wants to do. There's no way in the world that me as a grown man is ever going to entertain that just because she wants to. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Am I crazy? Am I the only person that starts to see things like this, and I think that it's wild that grown men in their 20s and 30s and 40s can walk by what I would think is a child, somebody that's in middle school or high school, and think, I'm feeling that. Thought that's wild. That's wild that y'all think that that's cool. It's wild that y'all think that that flies. I'm not going for it. There's no way in the world that you're going to sit here and justify it in my eyes. To think that the most vulnerable amongst us, and I'm going to just put it even back on the black community, because it's not just the black community, but this was a group of black men that I were talking to think that the most vulnerable amongst us is being looked at in a sexualized way by adult men that can go and do whatever it is that they want with somebody else that's actually their age or above is insane to me. And it is no way, shape, or form. This is one of those things where I usually say, you know, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'm not open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I'm not open to hearing any excuses. I'm not open to trying to understand your mindset when it comes to how it is that you look at little girls. It don't fly with me. It can't fly with me. It's no amount of prayer that you can ask me for to pray for you. No, I think you need to be removed from society or worse. And the only reason I'm saying it that way is because we on a family-friendly platform, so I can't really say what I really think. But God just need to go ahead and come on. I mean, my next prayer, and I had to sleep on it before I had to make this video this morning. My prayer is that he just go ahead and burn this whole thing to the ground, because demons is running wild. Demons is everywhere, is running wild. And you can't even justify to me why that makes sense, man. There's nothing that you can say that'll make sense with that. You know, I had the same conversation when we was talking on the panel. What was it, last year or the year before, when me and the lead attorney was talking about Glendon Cameron? And you know, the weirdest thing for me is how many different people came out of the woodwork and was like, yeah, I'm feeling him. Listen, the age of consent is this. Yo, I don't care. Man, you can't get me to look at as a 40-year-old man, you can't get me to look at a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old. I'm not interested. I don't want a child whose brain is not even fully developed to even make the best decision. And then we want to sit here and talk about all of the trauma, and then I got to come and be the person that holds these modern women accountable and start talking about, yeah, you need to get your life together and stop being for the streets and all of that. Well, one of many of the reasons that these people is for the streets is because they experienced this wild behavior when they was children and being manipulated by somebody that knew exactly what it was that they was doing before they even got to them. God just need to come on and just watch this earth over, because humans are nasty and they crazy and they predatory, and I don't care who disagree with me. You know what the worst thing about this is that it's so many people that actually align with that mindset and that behavior that I'm starting to become the anomaly. I'm starting to become the one that look crazy, because I'm the minority. I don't even think that I'm the majority anymore. We've digressed and become such a toxic environment and culture to where I can't even justify my logic to normal people anymore, because it's a lot of people that's probably looking at this. I guarantee you this video gets some dislikes. I guarantee you this video gets some dislikes. And the person that dislike it, that's the one you need to protect your sons and your daughters from, because they coming for them. When they walk into school, when they post on the internet, they following them, they liking their TikToks and all of that. That's them. That's them. And if you've been one of those people, one of those young girls or young boys, where a grown adult human being has petitioned you for anything other than to get you to where you need to go safely and get in touch with your parents because you wasn't supposed to be out there in the first place, then I feel bad for you. And you have my empathy. And I wish you well, and I hope you get some form of professional help to let you get through it. But it's not right. It ain't never gonna be right. And I'm praying for you. But for all of the other people that justify this wild behavior, I hope the worst thing ever happens to you in your life.